Bright Sun's Travelers, and welcome to This is the Waypoint, the one and only Star Wars show right here on the Shared Screens podcast. Hold on one second. Now this is podcasting. All right. Today, we are talking about the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. If you're a cool kid, you went and saw it in theaters 25 years after it had just ended. And joining me today are four cool kids. My co-host, some other Josh, is in the building.
Annie, you small boy. No larger than a pumpkin, Annie. Your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
The count to my Dooku, Bret, is here.
Podcasting, man, it's very dangerous. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, they do it on Malastare, I hear. And joining us today, we have two wonderful guests, Yanira and Aaron. How are you both doing today?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Excited and nervous.
I want to do a Phantom Menace line. Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
But my lord, is that legal?
Make it legal.
Yeah.
I almost did that line like my lord, is that illegal? And then I was like, well, I shouldn't do the accent probably.
My friends were elbowing me because I was doing lines during the movie. And then once I stopped doing cocaine, I stopped doing dialogue for the movie as well.
I think I was sitting there like Brittany looked over at one point because I went and saw it with my wife and she saw me like mouthing along with like the first half of the movie. It's like I couldn't help myself out loud, but be like, well, you were right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short. I was like, I had to. I love that line.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
It's so good. So, I mean, yeah, it has been 25 years of the Phantom Menace, and as most of us kind of within that early Gen Z, like millennial kind of, I'm throwing Josh in there for Gen Z, mostly millennials up in this building, right? These were our Star Wars movies, you know. These were the ones that were coming out as we were growing up. These are the ones releasing for us, and so while I'm not a huge fan of the weird like revisionist history of people being like, hey, these movies are actually really fucking good, they're okay, but they mean a lot to me and a lot to our generation, and so I couldn't pass up the opportunity to not sit here and talk about this big anniversary with you guys. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of hear from you, and let me try and read my notes with these fucking is how old were you guys when you first saw the Phantom Menace? And I can kick us off because I think I'm the oldest in the room. I was born in 1992. I'm Chris. Hi, Rumblepack 92. By the way, I didn't intro myself at the beginning of the show for the bit. I was 7 when this came out, and I got to see it in theaters, like back in the day. What about you guys, Bret? Did you see it in theaters?
You know, for the longest time, I thought I did, and then I saw it with my family, and they were like, "I don't think we took you," but I do remember watching it on VHS though, because it had the Maul.
Yeah, on the cover with the lightsaber. Yeah.
My mom didn't like Darth Maul, so it was
scary.
Yeah.
My dad covered my eyes when he got cut in half for the. I was like, no, let me see.
I have to see this. This is going to happen a lot in my life.
I'm like, let me look. What about the rest of y'all, Josh? I'm really curious about you, Josh.
Okay, I didn't see it in theaters in the initial run, of course. I was, one
tiny baby,
just a little baby when this movie came out. But I did own the mall VHS, like Bret was saying, and I ran that shit to the ground. I rewatched this and fucking rewatched this day in and day out like clockwork. I'd invite friends over, and of course, their trade negotiations, they're falling asleep, and I'm like, you're an idiot for falling asleep during this boring ass movie. This shit's great, you know. And then I
would love hearing about space trade disputes.
Exactly. I'd finish the movie, rewind the tape at 1 a.m. and keep
run it back.
Run it back, literally. Then I watched it in theaters for the 3D re-release, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not the Star Wars movie I remember it. This is actually really bad."
So that's why I got these. Nice. These were for the 3D re-release. That's what these are.
Yeah.
Our guest. How about you, Yanira?
I saw it when it came out. I must have been around like 5.
Okay,
when
so
it
I'm
came
the oldest
out.
in the building. All right, cool.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
Confirmation.
30.
Yeah.
So, you know, but I did go see it with my brother. I have 2 brothers, and my middle one is 27. So I did go see it with him. And I just remember that it was about to like start, and something messed up with the movie, and everybody
Oh.
got so pissed off, and everybody was just yelling and throwing shit up there. And then it started again, and everybody was just
Rage
laughing.
anger.
And it
I
was
love
so
the
funny.
I love the commitment to like throwing their in the 90s
No,
like
everybody lost
$9
their
popcorn,
mind.
you know, be like, yo,
Everybody
Yo,
just
it's
lost
Phantom
their
Menace will
fucking
fucking
mind.
kill you.
My brother was just yelling up there, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like,
It's
are you
Star
serious right
Wars.
now?"
Yeah,
Like,
nerd rage is real, dude.
Yeah.
but
Well,
I love it. I've always loved it. I love seeing it again. It was incredible. I cried, like I always do. So it was so good.
especially like back then too. I don't remember what movie it was that it hit theaters at the time, because this is pre-internet or like pre-ubiquitous
Black.
internet, right? Yeah. That's what it was. Meet Joe Black, which had the first like trailer for Phantom Menace, and like the sales for that movie were through the roof because people were buying tickets to go watch the new Star Wars trailer, right? Like nobody knew what the Phantom Menace was yet. Nobody knew how it was going to turn out. So like the fever was absolutely
It's
crazy.
just new Star Wars. I gotta watch it as
New
much as
Star
I
Wars.
can.
Gotta
Yeah.
go see it. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
mean, you're not getting movie trailers on the internet like 6 months before it comes out. Like it was just, I have to go to the movie theaters and watch some other movie. My dad actually did that. He didn't watch Meet Joe Black. He went in, paid for a ticket to see the movie, watched the trailer, walked right back out of the movie theater.
What a legend! I
Yeah.
stand.
He came
Yeah.
home. He's like, it looks so good. It's gonna be so sick.
Damn. That's a $12 movie trailer right there, dude. What the hell?
It's
In the
Star
90s, it was
Wars,
like
it's
$8.
worth it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's probably cheaper back then.
Yeah, it was like $8 back in the 90s, man.
Damn.
What about you, Aaron?
I mean, I've told this story like a million times, like whenever I come on and talk Star Wars with you guys. But Phantom Menace was the first
Sometimes
movie
you
I
just
ever
text
saw.
it to me at like 3 a.m. Be like, hey, did
Yeah,
I ever tell you?
exactly. Well, it's also tattooed on my lower back, so I don't forget. But
Yeah.
yeah, Phantom Menace was the first movie I ever saw in the movie theater. I went with my aunt, my uncle, and my cousins and my brothers, and it was the first time I ever had a movie going experience, and it's the thing that made me fall in love with going to the movies. And I was a big Star Wars fan before Phantom Menace came out, thanks to my uncle and my grandpa. And I loved it when I was a kid just because I was like, cool, more Star Wars, and I'm with like my favorite people, and I'm drinking a freaking Mountain Dew in a Regal Cinema that doesn't exist anymore, by the way.
No,
building
yeah, they're
still
all gone.
exists. The building still exists. I got a photo. Hang on. But yeah, like I loved it when I was a kid, and then kind of going back, it's like this movie sucks, but it's like awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah,
it's got a special
sure.
place in my heart for sure.
What a cool experience too, for it to be like the first movie. My first movie in movie theaters was The Lion King, but
Nice.
it was part of my introduction to Star Wars, because the year before Phantom Menace came out was when Lucas released the special editions of the original trilogy in theaters, and so my dad is a huge Star Wars fan. It's like it's just a big thing in most of my family, really. And so he was they'd heard about that. I was hitting 6 years old, and Dad's like, all right, he's old enough to watch Star Wars now, like let's go. I got to experience the original movies in theaters the first time I saw them. I still remember sitting in the movie theater, turning to my dad, and I was like, Darth Vader's his dad. I got to have that in a movie theater, and that was a really cool experience. And so I not only did I see Phantom Menace like the weekend it came out. I didn't see it release night midnight because I was 7 years old, but I saw it that weekend. And then when it hit the Dollar Theater near the apartment that we lived in Kansas City at the time, it was a super cheap way for my mom to shut me up for a few hours. So she took me to see it approximately 8 more times. It's the movie I've seen the most in my life, because I also had that VHS, which I fucking ran into the ground. Like it did not work after a while. I wore the tape out on it. I had a similar thing to where it's like I went through that phase as a teenager where I was like, actually the prequels suck. They're bad movies. I don't like them. And then I got into my 20s and I was like, I don't care. I like them anyway. Like whatever.
Big
I like 'em
fans.
all,
Big
yeah.
fans.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
whatever. I'm gonna stop pretending like I don't like these movies anymore. They're fun and stupid, and it's okay to like things that aren't objectively good. I hate that
Yeah.
term when talking about art. You can enjoy things that aren't objectively good. Fuck y'all.
Mhm.
Anyway. That's part of that for me. So what I kind of want to hear from you guys now, because it's around 25 years. That's a really, really long time. Obviously, like our generation too. It's got a little extra many just being those Star Wars movies that came out. Is like, what does the Phantom Menace in particular kind of mean to you? What kind of special memories do you have around it? And I know we kind of touched on that a little bit already, but kind of that sort of thing. And Brett, I'm going to kick it to you again.
Yeah, for me, it's more like of like the surrounding material around the movie. It's like the video games to me, like episode 1 Racer obviously was like incredible.
The best.
Dude, Neva Key though, dude, best pod racer, like and then the arcade pod
Put some
racing
respect
game
on my
too.
boy Team Toe Pagalies, all right?
The fact that you guys haven't mentioned Ben Quadraneros, like,
Dude, he's the best
Thanks,
one.
bro.
He's the best guy in the game. Like
Odie Mandrell, come on, dude.
the Jedi Power Battles, obviously, like the Phantom Menace, like video game. Yeah, so just thinking about those moments, and then with the movie itself, just like, I mean, I guess even Lego Star Wars too, right? Kind of that's a little bit later, but
I count.
yeah. And then with the movie itself, like, yeah, just in the, there's great moments and great scenes, but yeah, overall, it's like it's just very, very weirdly structured. Like Obi-Wan doesn't do anything the entire movie.
I'm talking about he's doing awesome like split kicks when he's like fighting droids and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He does it like
Spinning
4
around
times.
his lightsaber for no reason, just to put it
Chancellor
away.
stuff. Palpatine becomes Chancellor, like off screen, like huge
Yep.
moment.
Oh yeah, they actually picked me.
Yeah, like
E.T.
And then they went, "See ya, we're leaving."
Yeah, gotta go.
Anakin like destroys a Trade Federation on accident, like
Mary
weird,
Sue.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre, yeah, crazy. But it's a fun movie. I still had a fun time with it, and visually it still looks awesome. I still like the look of like the Trade Federation, the Gungan City, Naboo, Coruscant. Yeah, so there's parts that stick out that are awesome.
It has the benefit of being the only prequel movie that's not shot completely digitally. It was
Yeah.
still shot in 35 mil. It uses a lot of practical effects in those two things, and not that the other ones like didn't, because there are lots and lots of like miniatures work and stuff for the other two movies. But Episode 1 has a lot more like practical sets and effects compared to the following two movies, and like that shows. I think seeing it again, I was like, man, a lot of this still looks really fucking good.
So good.
Yeah, I had the same thought, except for like, I don't know. I feel like every 2 in 10 shots, I was like, ooh, like, or not necessarily the shot. Like, the majority of the shots still look great, still held up, and then
And then you get that close up of Sebulba, and you go, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Or
me, it was mostly like CG things that were moving around. I was like,
Auto every now and then, yeah.
some
if
did, but
if it wasn't a bad shot, then it'd be a good shot with like 12 elements on screen, and like 2 of them I'd be like, ooh, like the fucking sand dune crawler guys and the fucking Tatooine scenes and shit like that. I'm like, this.
Lucas loves to take a good-looking Star Wars shot and then go, how much shit can I shove into this one camera frame?
And it shows, dude. It really shows. Yeah.
Yanira, what about you? What's Phantom Menace to you?
It's just too much to even put into words. I just, one thing that sticks out to me from Phantom Menace, I will say that I've always thought about, is when they're talking about who Anakin's dad is, and she's like, there is no father, like I carried him, I birthed him or whatever.
I raised
and
him.
I've always felt like, is he like Jesus or fucking like?
The implication is that he's a fucking virgin birth.
Literally, I'm just like, how did they get away?
What's so
with
funny
it?
about that scene too is I was ready for it this time, and I was sitting there and I was like, it's so funny to me that Qui-Gon has zero reaction to that at all.
Yeah.
He
He's
goes,
like, oh, okay.
it's interesting, and moves
Prophecy,
on.
got it.
When I saw it with my family, I had to like explain that to them. They were like, what?
Like, hello?
There's like a comic they put out like 3 years ago that like kind of
Explained
explain
it.
this.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I wake up with some dude's baby who I don't even know. That thing's gone. Next day, dude. Let me tell you.
Yep.
How is she not just telling everyone that constantly? Be like, I don't know whose kid this is.
Exactly. Like, I woke up and there he is, like, I'm pregnant. Hello.
Yeah.
Are you not concerned?
Yeah.
How did we get away with this? And why is no one questioning this? I never hear anyone talk about that.
Yeah.
And it bothers
It's
me
so
just like,
glossed
what?
over.
Who fucked one of my slaves?
What?
Two
Why are
for
we
one,
not
man.
talking
2 for
about
one.
it?
2 for 1. This bitch is self-replicating.
No, but the whole thing is kind of crazy. I do really like the pod racing. I think I was telling you this, Chris, where I feel like I hate that it's the only movie that has pod racing in.
It's bullshit. Bring
It's all
it
said
on.
Why
that
do
there
we get
isn't
more?
more.
I don't understand why they didn't give us more.
They
in
had
other
the
movies.
opportunity in The
Yeah.
Last Jedi. They had the perfect opportunity to
I
put it
know.
in.
That would have
They
been
got-
so sick.
They got really close in Bad Batch, but they're like,
Very
"Hey, this
close.
is a different kind of racing that's equally just as dangerous." And it's like, "This is
Just make
rad,
it pods.
but just make it pods."
Just make
Why?
it
why-
pods.
And then
why-
in
Pod racing,
The
bro.
racing in
Mandalorian,
Bad Batch
it still
reminds me of
exists.
Wipeout.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, it's very like
100%.
F-Zero.
Yeah.
So I thought it's cool.
The pod
Dude,
racing
how
is the
about-
best part of the movie. You're correct about that.
How about gambling being like a huge part of this movie? Like nowadays, whenever you watch any sports, there's like FanDuel ads like in your face.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
I
like,
loved it.
man,
What
I
were-
like this team, and they're like plus 800 to do this. You're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
Hello.
and it's an essential part of this
Do you,
plot.
do you think there are podcasts that exist in
8-12.
Star Wars being like, what's the over-under on Sebulba winning the Boonta Eve today?
Yeah, cheating to win.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. No, I like that element of it too, and just Qui-Gon just casually being like, "Yeah, I'll just take all these bets, dude." Like, come
Little
on.
parlay.
I'll take
Little-
that bet.
He's,
Three-leg
literally,
He's just
parlay.
gonna cheat.
he's literally going band for band with Watto.
I
Like,
wish, dude, I wish those
He's like,
two.
fuck it, take my car. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
It's not
Honestly,
mine
if they
anyway, it's
ever-
the Queen's.
If they ever, remake this movie, like I need like the two-headed announcers to do like a TNT, like here's like the 3-leg parlay Qui-Gon has, because like
Yeah.
he's like you're watching the movie and he's like, I want to add this bet onto this, and you're like, wait, hold on,
Yeah.
let me like track these bets. Like he's betting the ship for this, the pot for this.
He's
Like,
pulling up DraftKings on his
what?
phone.
yeah.
So,
Out
Brett,
there
just, I
betting,
want
he's
to
a
point out. I
gambler.
want someone to make this edit, whether it goes on TikTok or not. The second you mentioned the two-headed announcer, me and Chris are both just moving our heads back and forth like the ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to know what the Star Wars equivalent of like DraftKings is.
Yeah.
If somebody out there wants to make that logo,
Yeah.
please send it our way
I'll
at
figure something
shared
out.
_screens on
Yeah.
Twitter. Who have I asked? I've already lost track. Josh, Phantom Menace, how do you feel about it?
Okay, so like I said, loved it as a kid, and then I watched it at 13 for that re-release, and man, I hated it. It was so
I
boring.
should punch you in the face.
I know, right? And I was like, this is. I put it in the same category as for the longest time from the watching it in 2011 to watching it now. I had it in the same category as. Stick with me, Batman versus Superman. I'm like, this is a bad movie with great scenes that I love to watch on YouTube. Like,
Go on.
right? I'm like,
And it's like, hold on real quick.
hold on. But I was like,
continue.
pod racing. I'll watch that on YouTube. Duel of the Fates fight. I'll watch that on YouTube. These are great scenes in a fucking bad movie. Now I have a lot more of appreciation for it. Is it still problematic? Yes. Dude, watching it this time around, I was like,
Shout out to the
holy
Nemoidians.
shit. The Nemoidians, Jar Jar Binks, Watto. I was like, this movie, fucking Padme being a pedophile. I was like, this movie is problematic as fuck.
She's
I
14,
never
bro.
understood
She's
that. No,
14.
I'm sorry, but I just never understood what gave the vibe that Padme was fucking trying to go at this
She's-
shit. There's nothing in there
I
where
don't.
she's
I
like,
genuinely. I
I
don't
don't
think
get
she
it.
is.
I
No,
don't get it.
In Phantom Menace,
Well, 'cause
it's
in
Anakin
two-
has a huge crush on her. That's
In
it.
Yeah,
two-
it's
He
one
has a
sided.
crush on her, and she's like,
Two,
"Oh,
she's
look at this
pushing him
funny
away
little
the whole time,
kid."
too.
Yeah, so like I
Is she-
don't
is she-
understand.
Out,
She
out,
is.
Is she? Because
Initially.
Eventually, she
on
gives
Naboo.
in.
Eventually.
Yeah,
They're on
Dude,
Naboo. They're
like
hanging
Steve
out,
Urkel
and
did on
then
Family Matters.
because they're hanging out. They're outside. He's rolling around in the grass
Yeah.
or whatever, and then she's
Yeah.
like, "Let me put on like the sexiest outfit that I have,
Oh,
only
yeah.
to tell you no."
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Did I say outfit? I mean 50 different awesome, sexy outfits.
Yeah.
And then,
God bless
this
him.
one, the midriff's getting ripped off.
Oh yeah. But this time around though, I was like, okay, it's not a bad movie. It's a boring movie with some damn good Star Wars in between, right? I still hated the midichlorian shit.
It's still dumb. I
yes,
don't care. It's still dumb.
The beginning is slow and boring, whatever. We get to pod racing, 10 out of 10, fantastic.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I love the midichlorians.
Stop.
Why does it not surprise me at all?
Yeah.
I love them.
I kick people in here like I can on
like
Discord.
Mid-chlorians.
I had a little less of a problem with them now, coming off of Bad Batch, and they're talking about M count the entire time in season 3. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Still dumb concept, right? And then we get to the end, and they're doing the 3 planes of action, and I never appreciated this before, but they got the fucking Gungan battle on the ground. Four
planes of action.
You're telling me there's a 4th plane? We got the Gungan battle on the ground. We got the Trade Federation up in the sky, and we got the duel
of the fates.
You also have Padme and the Nabooans sneaking into the thing.
True.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah, damn,
when
it's 4 shit.
When it's cutting between these 4 planes of action, that is some goddamn great S tier Star Wars, straight up. I was thrilled the entire time. They kept cutting back between everything that's happening, and I'm like, this is great.
Especially because, like, who else could do that in this day and age?
100%. Nobody else could pull off 4 planes of action like that, right? But just the lead up to get there, the trade negotiations, just shit like a vote of confidence being said in the Star Wars movie. I'm
confidence.
Like, vote of no confidence, whatever the fuck. I'm like, this is still bad politics and so fucking boring.
But
my
E.T.
God,
was there.
I know, but
it's got real bad pacing issues, right?
Yes.
It's the opening fun.
Yeah.
Stuff on Naboo, big gooberfish fun. Right,
Yeah.
I'll defend the gooberfish.
That guy, love that dude.
I'll defend the there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
How did the Gungans not have subtitles, bro? I literally did not understand. It's like I'm watching Squid Game at this point. Like, I don't know what they're saying, dude. Like, they're speaking a different language, literally.
Let's ask a more important question. If Qui-Gon and Anakin use force speed to get away from the destroyer droids, why the fuck didn't Obi-Wan use it to get to Qui-Gon when he's fighting Darth Maul later in the movie?
Yep.
No,
He didn't want to run off. Like, you're going that fast. Like,
no, I mean when it's the straight shot with the laser walls. If
at the same time,
he would run.
Hang on, if he's running through, I totally understand if he doesn't want to do it to like get caught in the laser. But the second that last one opens,
there's a big hole in the ground.
Get behind Darth Maul.
Yeah, have you not seen that YouTube video where it's like, what if Obi-Wan used force speed and he runs right down the hole? Yeah.
He can stop himself.
There's a big hole in the floor.
I don't know.
Not only does he not use it there in a situation where it would potentially save Qui-Gon, we also never see it in Star Wars again. It just never comes up again.
Yeah.
And then pretty much after that one scene, after the beginning scene on that ship, and then a little bit like here and there, we don't even really see Obi-Wan that much after that. Like
people in my theater
like rat tail on the side. I was like, Obi-Wan is here to serve cunt, and he's giving it to me.
Dude,
my
I love that they
literally grew a little like tail on the side.
I had one.
When Attack of the Clones comes back, when they do Attack of the Clones in theaters, we should all buy apprentice braids.
I was like, you know what? He was ahead of his time because now I need one. Like I see it on the side. Like hello,
especially like mid fight or when he's on Tatooine and he's sweaty and has that rat braid. I was like, dude, you're hot, dude.
Here's the actual the real important question is because we learned that is like the Padawan thing. Right, you have the little thing in the back, the little braid down this side. We see Anakin with that same cut at the end of the film during peace. His hair's not long enough for that braid. Where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, I know, right?
There's a clip on. Anyway. Long
Catch me
sidebar.
as Bass
Yeah.
on Halloween.
Dude.
Long
Yeah.
sidebar.
Qui-Gon. I was gonna say Qui-Gon,
Yeah.
like, dude's like kind of a jerk during this whole
Yeah.
movie.
He's kind of a dick, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It
I'm not here to free like all the slaves, even though I probably could.
Yeah.
Queen,
see
if
my
you don't
homies looking
come with
back.
me, you're gonna die, you idiot! Like,
Yes.
What's
he's
what
just like-
I love the bit where they're about to go into Watto's shop and Padme is like I can't believe you like trust the fate and on this boy, like the queen wouldn't approve, and he's like, Queen's
Yeah.
not here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
She doesn't have
I'm
to
tricking so
go.
many
Yeah,
people,
the
like
queen
10,
doesn't
10 different
approve.
aliens. This
Oh,
movie.
Yeah.
I don't
Queen's not
approve.
here. Well, I
My-
don't approve.
Well, I don't give a fuck.
My
Bitch, I
favorite
am the-
my favorite Qui-Gon bit though, totally super woke. I fucking loved it, man. Was the one Naboo pilot or lead guy being like,
Captain Panaka.
Captain Panaka being like, we're going to Tatooine. We're dealing with a bunch of gangsters, and he's like, it's no different than dealing with the Trade Federation. I was like, damn, dude.
Based.
Qui-Gon, base as
Damn.
fuck, man. Yeah, he
Get
knows
the
what's up.
fuck.
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, corporations are pieces of shit too, honestly.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
Huts of
exactly.
gangsters. Shout out to Panaka, who in canon later becomes a Moff in the Empire.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, he does. He commands his own Star Destroyer.
Damn.
And apparently ducks exist in Star Wars because he mentions we'll be sitting ducks.
Sitting ducks, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
I think there's even a shot like when they're coming up out of
There's like
the speeder. You
swans
can
or
see, you
cranes
can
or
see,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And then one other thing I wanted to touch on too. I tried to go in clean sweep.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know, what if I'm watching this movie for the first time? I have no knowledge of what's to come. I've only seen, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and I'm going into this movie. That's where I tried to jump. Like watching it this time around, that's the mind space I went into this. And for a lot of it, I was still like, what the fuck? But man, I could not get over the hurdle of Darth Maul. I was like, dude, you are so cool.
Yup.
In Clone Wars and afterwards, you are badass. Why are you a punk ass bitch in this movie, dude?
Dude, he
He
was
sucks.
he was our generation's Boba Fett
Actually,
because the
Yeah.
OG
he does more than
got
Boba
got.
Fett.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, but still, it was a really awesome character who looked badass as shit, and he went out like a bitch.
Yeah.
And they brought both of them back since. But like being a kid and watching that, and it's like, why did you get rid of the coolest guy? Now you got some
Yeah.
old ass man fighting Anakin in episode
We have-
2.
Whoa.
We have an
I
old
was
ass.
a ignorant child back then. Okay.
We have an old ass man and a robot with tuberculosis who fucking with 4 robot arms,
And a real CGI looking Yoda.
Yeah.
So I would love to posit the question too, because it is a twist that it turns out, we learn at the end of the movie, aha, Padme is the queen.
Yeah.
What? That doesn't affect the movie at all. Why is that
There
there?
wasn't really much of a reason for her to be hiding.
No.
I get like once you're like when you're on Tatooine and you're trying to escape, but like
Yeah.
after that, like
What's
Well,
the
once you go to
what was so
Tatooine,
fun?
they're not going to know who the Queen of Naboo is. I would.
yeah, you don't
assume.
trust the Jedi, like what's
Yeah.
happening here?
And it's just one of those things to where like going in and paying like really close attention. I was fucking watching this time, being like, how often is Keira Knightley dressed as the queen,
Yeah.
right?
Like two
how-
times.
There's a
it's
website
it's
dedicated to
it's
that.
a lot. Like even before they go to Tatooine, like there's a point where right before you get the Coruscant, that does not compute. Wait, you're under arrest. Like as they're walking in, they're talking about, all right, we're gonna take this ship, we're gonna leave. It's Keira Knightley there because she turns to Padme,
yeah.
who says, "We are brave, Your Highness,"
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there, I was like, why did they do this?
Yeah. I
And again, also shout out to that bit where she's wearing a completely different outfit because we see the droids roll in and she's wearing the thing that Yanira's got like on her shirt right now, and then it hard cuts in the very next scene. Keira Knightley, different outfit.
let me tell
And
you,
shout out to that shot of her sitting there too. You know how like the little things on the bottom of her dress are like glowing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's still in the shot. I was looking for it. You can see the power cable that leads under the dress,
Oh,
like plugged
shit.
into the wall in the shot.
Damn. I totally forgot about this plot point until playing 2022 Game of the Year. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Funny,
Goaty.
one of the funniest bits in that game is when they're like, "No, I'm Padme. No, I'm Padme." And it's the old ass dude being like, "I'm Padme." And then, yeah, they reveal it. They reveal it towards the end to the Gungans, and then they reveal it again towards the Trade Federation. And
it makes sense there
It
because
makes
they use
it
it
makes
as a
sense there.
diversion there.
But yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, this affects nothing.
Even in the conversation where she's like, "I'm sorry for the ruse, but I'm Padme," I was like,
It's just for the drama. It's
That was-
just the queen.
Just having something to do.
Yeah.
Also, why can't they go on Tatooine and like go to like a phone booth and call
A phone booth.
and call someone on Coruscant and being like,
use something that's
"Pick
not
us
the
up,
queen's ship so they
please."
can't track them.
So they don't have to do
that
a
was
3-leg
it.
parlay and this like pod race for a 9-year-old who has never finished a race.
Well, I think the idea is that
He won
because
the whole
it's
thing.
because it's in the outer rim, like communication into the inner rim is hard. Although I am confused at the
Yeah.
idea that their hyperdrive is leaking fuel. They can't travel. They're coming from Naboo, which is a mid-rim planet. How is Tatooine the closest? Whatever.
I mean,
Yeah,
they were
I was
also
sitting there, I was like-
receiving messages, no problem.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
must contact me.
But also communications have been knocked out, which of course, as we
And,
all know, means one
dude,
thing:
Yeah.
invasion.
Did like I picked this up seeing this movie again? Was like, did Padme or one of the handmaidens like actually like call him back, or did they receive the message alone?
They received
Like
it. Was
that
the idea?
that alone was like the trace because
Yeah.
like the dude's like, "You must contact me."
What
And
they're
then-
trying to
and then
do.
and then it shows it goes to the next scene and it's like Maul's like, "All right, we traced him to Tatooine. Let's go."
I think that's what it's supposed to be
Over my
because they received the message. That's how Maul was able to trace it.
Yeah, once
I
they
guess.
opened it, they were able to track them.
Which
Which
was
was
why
the
like
fucking movie at all.
which doesn't
Oh.
doesn't come up. Which is it's just like one like hint at that's what's going on. Where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like tell them like don't send any communication of any kind.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but
Well,
like it had already backfired because they'd heard it.
So much subtext for stuff like in the script that George just didn't have anyone convey. Like in the scene where Watto throws the chance cube and it changes, like that's supposed to be a loaded dice, so it's always supposed to land on red, and then
Yeah.
Qui-Gon makes it land on blue, and that's why Watto's so pissed because he's like, "Well, that was a sure thing. I should have won that, but whatever."
Yeah, just lots of those things. We are starting to run short on time, so Aaron, I want to hear what Phantom Menace means to you.
Honestly, I think it's just like memories, man. Like just, sharing those with my family and just having a great time. Also, like the marketing stuff they had for this movie being
I'm so glad you brought this up.
Man.
the perfect age for all of this. Like being a kid who was a huge Star Wars fan already, seeing every, like those cool like half character cups at like KFC or
Had
like
a bunch
the
of,
Planet
still have a
things
bunch of
that
those.
you can
My
open
parents
from
still have a
Burger
bunch of like the
King.
little like character tops. Yeah.
All the Pepsi cans of all the characters, and you're like, oh, whoa, C-3PO on this Diet Pepsi can. He doesn't have his gold plating. That's weird. That's crazy.
I
I don't know, man. It's just for me thinking back to Phantom Menace when it was coming out was just it like I don't know, like it was just the perfect time in not the perfect time in my life, but it was just the perfect time for that movie to come out in my life.
yeah.
Because I was just, I was so enthralled. I was like, whoa, new Star Wars is crazy. And now I've got to experience that twice in a lifetime. Once when the prequels was coming out and once when the sequels were coming out. Granted, I don't think when Phantom Menace was coming out there were Star Wars oranges, but you never know.
Yeah, there was a lot going on with the marketing for Phantom Menace, man, and like it's gonna make me sound ancient to say this, but like kids like genuinely just who weren't around for the prequels do not understand like the kind of marketing that those movies had.
Also, speaking of the marketing, and to like kind of the fast food stuff, the last time me and my friends all watched all the Star Wars movies. When we did Phantom Menace, and I would suggest you do this next time you watch Phantom Menace. Go onto YouTube, look up some commercials from when it was coming out. And because like they had like it was like a Burger King, a Taco Bell, and like Or no, it was
KFC.
KFC, Taco Bell, and
KFC,
Pizza
Taco Bell,
Hut,
and
and there
Pizza
was
Hut.
there was an employee from each one in the commercials. They were like, "Yeah, you can."
Well,
get
you say
special
an
stuff at
employee.
each restaurant."
The Taco Bell representative was a Chihuahua. I just want
Yeah,
to
it was
point
the
that out. It
Chihuahua,
was
and I
not
think
an
it was, like, the
employee. It was
Colonel.
the Chihuahua. Yeah.
Yeah, but they did stuff like that, and then also right before you start the movie, play the Fox the Fox Sunday movie, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace world premiere. It gets you so hyped, dude. It's so sick.
Speaking of marketing, I would like to posit the idea that we all take like a little family road trip down to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because I have learned that there is still one standing, working Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace Pepsi vending machine.
Oh,
What?
yes.
With which of course has Anakin
Yeah.
and Sebulba and the pod racers on the front of it. Still around, still there.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. The I did marketing sponsorship gig for an event center in my hometown, and I had to make deliveries, and I went to our local KFC office, and I walked in there, and right in the waiting room was a life-size Jar Jar Binks and Darth Maul statues
Yes.
from '99.
That's
And
awesome.
I was like, holy shit, these look so beat up and old. And to the point where like Darth Maul's lightsaber is like crooked this way up top and crooked the other way on the bottom. And I was like, oh my God, can I get a picture of these? And the receptionist is like, yeah, whatever, you know? I was like,
Whatever.
"Oh my
They're
God."
like, sure, you weirdo.
Yeah, exactly. I almost wanted to be like, yo, 300
Should've
I'll take
really
it
like-
off your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, give me these now. I want them.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll handle this. Jar Jar
Yeah.
Freaking Josh has one on each arm. He's running out.
I used to have a cardboard cutout of Jar Jar Binks with his hands up like this, with sticking his tongue out. Yeah.
The suckers, the tongue suckers. Who the hell
God,
idea was
yeah.
My
that?
first kiss, man. My first kiss.
I was about to say, dude.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
absolutely. I had one.
Right at the bottom of the Jar Jar sucker.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was gross. I don't know whose idea was like, what would be really great for kids?
Yeah.
It's this sucker that has.
Jar Jar Binks. Bad maybe
Well,
like.
Well, awesome. That has been this week's episode of This Is the Waypoint. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching. And hey, if you like what we do here, we still got more Star Wars content coming your way. You can just go down there, hit that button, hit subscribe. It doesn't even cost you 7 whoopee whoopee. It's free.
7 whoopee whoopee.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you at the next Waypoint.